everyone to this first panel discussion meeting that we are conducting on behalf of the Bharat Connect. As a What is the Bharat Connect? I would like to give one minute like an introduction about the Bharat Connect. So we were surprised when we came in to India like 4 5 years back that to find there are no meaningful association or a body, if you say that caters to the contact centers, BPOs, KPOs, and the customer service functions in India. When you say in India, we are indirectly covering the whole globe, because one way or other we have a touch point in India, and from through all directions, either it is west, south, north, east, right? So all countries have some kind of a connection with India, especially when it comes to the contact centers, the some kind of outsourcing happening, some kind of talent being tapped from India to run their business, whether it's a Boeing or it's a Walmart, or whatever the different industries it could be, right? So we are there in everywhere. So then why there is no community as such to cater to this industry, and bring every one of us together, and bring all of our ideas and our challenges, and and sort out our issues, and raise our voice, right? So we thought, let us form one. So this is part of that, and this is going to be the very first meeting. So I would like to express our special thanks to for all of the panelists and the participants who was going to be the another panelist from Kotak Mahindra, executive vice president. She had some other urgent meeting. She's not able to be with us today, but she's promised to be with us some other time in future. So thank you all so much. We are really grateful to have all of you here to be part of our discussion, and give us your insights, share your experience, and help our community to bring some information, gather some information, bring put some light on what are the things going on, and explaining them, so all that good stuff. So I would like to tell one more thing, since this is going to be a community and a purely volunteer basis association, please go to our site, thebharatconnect.com, and register, and be part of the community and see whatever the way you can help, contribute, or just to participate, whatever it is, please do that. So with that, I would like to get started and give a brief introduction about our panelists for all the participants who are here. Please make sure you understand who all are the participants, and way what their way of thinking, and what they are going to say, because I don't know, I'm pretty sure all of you here would know, about our superstar Rajinikanth, right? I'm pretty sure all of you would know. So he says in one movie, if I say once, it says 100 times, right? So imagine that same dialogue, not Rajini is saying, some other comedian is saying, let's say, in Tamil, if it's a Vadivel is saying, in Telugu, Brahmanandam saying, it has that meaning, that it's the same dialogue, but the meaning is totally different, right? Because people would just take a break and then laugh at it and then just move on, it is not giving the same message. So it is not the dialogue, it is the person who is saying it, and what is his way of thinking. I'm not going to take much time. I'm going to give you a little bit about each one of them, right? Let me start with Suresh. Suresh, I would like to call, he's the CEO of iMark, right? And he's been in this business for so many years and knows ins and outs of the customer care and BPO, or whatever the medical billing or contact center, anything you can talk about, right? So he has been there, and he knows exactly. So if I want to define him, for this topic, I would like to call him as a visionary, right? Because he did he moved out his operations to tier 2 and tier 3 city, not now, not during 2020 pandemic, but 9 years back. So he had that vision of why not, this is going to work, we can make it work. So he not only thought about it, he executed it, and it's very successfully running. And I'm so happy to see that he made it work in his own hometown. And he has about 400 to 500 employees working there. In that town, 500 employees working in one company is not an easy thing to do. I know how, the situation there, and what kind of lifestyle there and everything. So hats off to Suresh, and please join me welcoming Suresh to our panel discussion. And we are delighted to have Suresh on board with us.
Thank you, Tom.
Sure. And let me introduce Sharati Ghosh. She's not here, but she is handling Kotak Mahindra's omni-channel, and the phone banking, whole customer interactions and everything. So it should have been a really, really good to have her here. It was unfortunate that she's not able to be with us, but she promised to be with us for one time, because the reason why I'm iterating about her, even though she's not being here, she was voted one of the India's top 100 women in finance in the year 2019 by the Association of International Wealth Management of India in the progressing category. So that's who she is. So so we really miss her being here, but we will ensure that she's going to be with us in the future, one of our future discussions. And third one, Sunil Kolori Shivaram, who is from R1 RCM, senior global manager. He is very, very, very busy man. So thanks so much to have him here. So to define about Sunil, I would like to say this, most of us know about Dhoni, right? Our former Indian cricket captain. If I say Dhoni, what comes to your mind? It is going to be, he's very cool. Cool means any situation, he has that calmness, and being able to handle the situation, even if it's a last over, only 3 overs to contain, you can only see him without showing any tension, executing exactly what he wanted. So that's person who personality, what Sunil is, so because I have seen his profile and work style and everything. So I think that is a right way of explaining it, because he has tons of technology, and the experience that goes along with it, to know and execute, bringing all the teams together in global level, and to get the things done. So let's keep that in mind. So so he's an enabler, right? Not just as a manager. So he's there to cheerlead everyone to get things done on their own. So let's welcome Sunil on board. We are very delighted to have him on this panel. Welcome here, Sunil.
Yeah, hello everyone, and thanks.
Here. And last but not least, Sikender Ahmad, right? So 19 plus years in banking and financials, tons and tons of BPO experience. And he has already done, moving some of the work to tier 2 cities already. So he is a pioneer in this industry, in this particular topic, I would say, because he has already executed, just like Suresh, he has executed it on a different level, meaning they have taken during his one of his experience from the Cognizant, right? So he has taken part of the work, that is IT support for Cognizant around the globe and carved that work out and then moved that piece of work to tier two cities like Coimbatore. Why I'm stressing that is they have decided to move on to tier two to get advantage of being in a tier two and like getting a lot of different tapping into a different set of human resource and everything. But then what to start with, right? That's another big thing, right? You don't want to start with something that and then fail. So that's very critical. So they have come up with a very brilliant idea of why don't we give a IT support, and that became a very big success mantra, right? What it does is it helped them to put all the IT support together in one location and then being able to support. That became once I experiment, it became a biggest weapon for them, right? One of the big success stories for them. So that's a person who he is that's the kind of experience he brings to the table, and he has a lot of information to share. So please join me in welcoming Shikender for this panel discussion. Welcome, Shikender. We are delighted to have you here on the board.
Thank you so much, Uttaman, and I am happy to be part of this esteemed panel. And thank you to all the participants who have joined this event just to hear from all of us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So the participants, you are going to have time to raise questions. Please raise your hand if you have a question. Well, what we'll do is we'll get to you during the the section of the question and answers, because we don't want to stop the flow in the middle. We will continue and let the panelists express their ideas, and then we'll get back to you quickly. Okay. So with that, let us get started with our discussion, right? So the discussion point number one is going to be tier one cities have been shouldering the services agenda in India until about 2010. Only in last 5 to 10 years we have started seeing moving into tier two and three. Currently about 10 to 15% of the workforce operate from tier two and tier three. This is just before March 2020, because March 2020 something happened, that's a pandemic, and now NASCOM is saying 70 to 80% of our work move to work from home during this pandemic, meaning so our majority of our workforce are from tier 2 and tier 3, and we are still able to give a world-class service. So what is your view on this? What is coming to your mind? We'll give a couple of minutes for each panelist. We will get started with Sikender, and then we'll move on to other panelists.
Sure. Thank you, Uttaman. Yeah. So when we kind of thought about, just like any other company, and obviously we are providing 24/7 support. And just before the pandemic, when we know that China is hit with this disease, and we kind of need to prepare well because it's going to impact the entire world, we were looking at a typical traditional BCP strategy, business continuity program, of multiple locations within the same site, multiple sites within the same location, or from one location to another location. So these are some of the strategies that we have it as a business continuity program, right? Okay. And suddenly, the Prime Minister comes one fine day in the television and says, you know what, there's going to be a lockdown. And thankfully, that just before a week, we kind of thought through and said, you know what, we got to be prepared for the worst, and let's try out work from home scenario with a limited number of resources. And that's how we kicked off. And given that, the Prime Minister immediately came and said, if there's going to be a lockdown, then all hands on deck, IT came into play, and we've got a business continuity team. So, and plus the contact center management, we were able to do a 50% work from home in a record 2 weeks time.
Wow.
And whilst initially this was not the idea. I'm sure I can bet with anybody, no organization would have thought of having a BCP scenario as a work from home. Everything was hit out of the park. The ball was out of the park in terms of whatever BCP strategy that we used to have. Nothing was coming into effect at that time, given the lockdown. And the only thing that we can try and do is the work from home. I think we kind of did that in a much faster way compared to some of the organizations. I have friends across organizations. They kind of suddenly realized, oh, you know what, they'll have to scale up getting the asset first. That's the first requirement, right? You need to have the asset to distribute it. And then your infrastructure has to kind of, work very well for so that you are able to handle the contact center operation seamlessly. I think everything fell in place for us, and the best part is, our people cooperated with us, coming and collecting the laptop or distributing it to at their home, checking all the aspects so that we don't kind of lose out on the recording of the call, right? That becomes very critical, and it's a regulatory requirement as well. When a customer wants us to go back to the call recording and listen to it, we have everything in place. So it was a whilst we thought it is going to be a nightmare, it wasn't like that. We were able to seamlessly do it. And I think this was a goal any chief operating officer or a CEO would want to have to, how do we drive the cost down? But pandemic did it. It's not the CEO or the COO who was pushed to allow agents to work from home. Pandemic kind of helped us. And there was a relaxation from the government side in terms of DOT regulations to allow work from home. That kind of helped us. And the fact that, right now we are 100% work from home model. We are thinking about, I'm sure many of the organizations thinking about just giving up the property and continue this as a long-term strategy and not just, restrict only during this pandemic, right? When we come out of pandemic, I'm sure most of the organizations across various industries, take it healthcare, banking and financial services, communications, retail, F&A, all of them are going to focus on having some amount of workforce work from home as a strategy. So they will give up property, and that's going to help in reducing the cost. That's my experience from the work from home. So it's been a phenomenal journey, and thankfully, it's not the leadership team who thought about it. It's just the pandemic pushed all of us to move towards this agenda.
There's not much time to react, right? Okay, thanks, Sikandar. So, how was your experience, Sunil, in this space? Because you are coming from entirely different vertical.
Yeah. So, frankly speaking, in February we didn't had any plan, right? I still remember I just came back from US, and that time it was 14 days quarantine, and I was cooling my legs, right? And everybody didn't have a plan, so everybody was relaxed. Everybody knew something is going to happen. Right. And I still remember 6th day, I'm getting a SOS call from my leadership. That means, my senior VP called from US and say, you have to be in the office. So my answer was, no, I'm quarantining, right? So I can't be on the office, right? I just traveled, but he said, be there. I'm waiting you in my conference room. So that is the time it's all started. So we didn't had any idea, right? And we are talking about back in India, we're talking about something like 10,000 workflows in all the location. Right. And for us as a compliance company, there was nothing called as a work from home. Right. Everything was on-prem. We can't think about work from home, right? Even though we had this back office operations like IT support and all. So we had a lot of plans, like, what is the plan A was, to move work back to US, because US, it was much easier to manage looking at the regulations and all. So we didn't have any plans. We have to sit and, scratch our head. But the call has to come from there and say at least 25% of the workforce has to be work from home. Then it started. And, that is why I always believe, because even though I believe in designation, but I believe as a technological person, right? So the technology helped us. So we started reverse engineering. So
Okay.
whatever as an on-prem solution, we had to make it as, an off-net solution. Right. And thanks to a wonderful team, which we had, everything was in-house. We started working on it. And as Sikandar rightly pointed out, technology was one part of it. The second part was the asset.
Yeah.
Right. And I still remember, see, again, the technology comes, kind of helped us because we have a great VDI implementation virtual desktop. So
Okay.
rather than waiting for a laptop to be purchased and given to the users, we asked the users to take out the thin client and go back. So
Okay.
it was like more like a carnival scenario where everybody used to come, they used to take out their equipments, right? And we used to set it up, our VPN, everything was in place. They used to go and, they start working.
Okay.
And after 1 week, around, 25% of the users started, then the demand started pouring.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be, each process wants, no, we are also ready. So within first week to the fourth week, we got something like 65% of
Okay.
our people working from home. And
Okay.
within 2 months, I still remember this was, even our team is acknowledged for that, 95% of the transaction we could achieve.
Okay.
This is, we are talking about, we have got a great calling infrastructure too, because we need to talk to the patients, right?
Yeah.
Right. There was a great learning experience. Like every day there was new technology pumped into the system, right? And we
Yeah.
have to think about the user experience. Like we can't, the training was a major challenge, right? We can't go to each person and advise them how to work now, because how to connect a
Yeah.
VPN, how to go for a support. So everybody, it's not only IT, we call it as, our sub facility group, our ITSM group. So it was all like a great teamwork coming into the fore. And currently as we sit here, I'm relaxing, I'm working from Kerala, which is quite far from Gurugram, right? I'm not taken a leave because I came to attend a function here. I'm not
Yeah.
taken a single leave because I can do my work. So I'm
Yeah.
enjoying, I'm doing work, like I'm speaking, I'm doing multitasking. So everything is there, right?
Yeah.
And currently everything is stabilized. So we had a free run, right? Like for the first 3 months, I could get whatever I asked for. I
Yeah.
said, I need this much money. The management was saying, Sunil, you got it, do this, right? So first 3 months we had the technology in place, we implemented everything. Now if you ask me, if I go back to the management and ask for money, management say, Sunil, things are working now, why you need money? So management is also now in a very, very good place. Now they are thinking about, like Sikandar pointed of consolidation of facility, right? They are thinking, go for an hotel solutions.
Yeah.
Like we will have 70% on prem, 30%, right? So everybody is now more relaxed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now more management decisions are coming. They are driving the business rather than the technology. So the
Yeah.
technology drove us, gave us this platform where people are ready to work.
Yeah.
Now again, the management decision is coming up, finance is coming up, questions have been asked. So now we are kind of okay, let's see what to do kind of a scenario.
Yeah. 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 Actually, this brings up to the next question, next discussion point. That is like, there is a school of thought that this pandemic has fast-tracked digital transformation initiative of most organizations, which is what we just heard from Shikender and also Sunil, right? Because moving into uh, like a work from home option, enabling them to 65%, 85% in weeks is not a easy thing to do. It is like, in fact, it was unthinkable, right? In February of 2020, like, if somebody said that we are going to have 80% people working from home, that, like, we would not have even thought, like, that's even anywhere it is going to closer to the reality. So the question here is like, how have you modeled your business technology wise during this pandemic? And do you think that it is something that you can continue to do as a things ease up? Meaning, like, would you be like, considering being in the same way, or like, going back? Like, what are the challenges? And like, since we have talked about what we have done, so what are the kind of challenges, and what are the kind of like, good and bad that, like, that this brings to us, our table? So Sunil, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, definitely. So as I mentioned my earlier comment, the technology was a major, my component for all these things to be a real successful in terms of, transactions. But
Yeah,
here also one thing what I've noticed, I just want to say technology. See, in India, we took this as an opportunity and a challenge,
yeah,
right? Now, see, I can literally say that, I would not have been successful if my partners, I'm talking about the vendors, right?
yeah.
Whether it is a Cisco, whether it is a Tata, whether it is an Airtel, if they also didn't contribute, they also come to the party. They were with us as a team. Like for me, Cisco or Tata or Airtel, they were there as in my additional hand. Like the moment I need to increase my bandwidth, they don't ask any questions, right? There is no POs or there is no approval. They will say, okay, we are doing it. You do your paperwork. So the technology, the partnership, along with the vendor made
Yeah,
our life much easier.
much
Like
easier.
I give you one example. Like see, the one thought, when I discuss with all leaders, like, recently we are having security discussions and all, we are work from home, right? There is also another community which is also, hack from home. There are
Okay.
hackers which is doing, hacking
Yeah,
from home, right?
yeah,
And when we talk about these things, the first question is what, how do you kind of secure the identity part of it? We had this 10,000 people logging in. Nobody knows from where they are logging and who is logging and all. So we had to have an MFA, multi-factor authentication,
yeah, yeah.
right? And this is also another great thing which has happened, and I'm give due credit to the vendor here. We could enable MFA for 10,000 users in 2 weeks time.
Okay.
I'm talking
Yeah,
about
that's good.
10,000 users back in India, and then
Yeah,
this is replicated to US around 30,000 users in 1 month time. US we still struggle because
yeah,
how US works, right?
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, but here that was the technology impact, right? So that the way, especially this part of the world, we could show to the global clients, like they were also lagging behind. They were talking about MFA, we were ready with MFA, right?
Yeah,
They were talking about, they were asking me, okay, they were giving me little different use cases. They were asking me, okay, so there was a specific, how do you know posturing? We want to make sure that if any client is connecting to our server, we want to make sure this particular software has to be installed,
yeah,
right? We did had that technology, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
the way we could add features, like one above another, with definitely with the help of the vendors, that actually made our case much easier,
much easier. Okay,
right?
okay.
And one thing I got to know, like, see, we have a lot of technologies around. Like if you go and fish, everybody, each and every feature, you have got 10,000, 20,000 people there to sell you out.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
here you need to choose the technology,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So if you have a robust technology, we can keep on adding layer to it. But
Sure.
if we do not have a proper technology, that is the time we find it little bit difficult to integrate, or to kind of scale out, or
Yeah,
yeah, enhance it.
yeah. True, true. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, thanks for that. So Sikender or Suresh, you have anything to add to it?
Yeah, so I would like to add a point that
Yeah.
another one of the challenges that work from home model that can potentially come. There are multiple challenges, but I'll pick up this one, right?
Sure.
Is to do with our the frequent power cuts that we will have, and the fact that if you have it, then what
Absolutely.
happens?
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah.
not something we thought about initially when we kind of distributed the assets and people went back home and we were like, ha, finally we did it. And yeah, suddenly then the next problem that you get to hear is the
Okay.
power cuts, right? So
Yeah.
if you we any organization right now considering the work from home is especially for the contact center space is also very keen to look at how do we enable the employees with a proper work from home setup, which includes providing a UPS, power backups, which helps to ensure the customer call is not disconnected, there is no
Yeah.
disruption to the service, and we are able to seamlessly operate uh, in any kind of a model, right? It could be a
Yeah.
24 bar 7, 12-hour shift, whatever you are doing, you're
Yeah.
able to provide that experience. That's one challenge. And the second one is also the fact that, how do we kind of protect, ensure that, our people are operating with the same level of uh, uh, dedication and commitment, the way that they would operate within the office workspace, right?
Yeah.
Not that we don't trust our people. At the same time,
We have to keep.
protecting our customers' interest and data
Absolutely,
becomes
yeah.
extremely critical.
Yeah.
There are best-in-class solutions right now which can kind of, uh, obviously, operates as a data surveillance tool, which kind of, it can capture the facial recognition to say that Sikandar is the person who's supposed to be logged in, and yes, he is the one who's taking the
It's the
calls.
one. Okay.
And there's somebody not at the back, shoulder surfing and looking at what we are doing, etc.
Yeah.
Whilst it could be a work at home environment, and sometimes people also, probably
Yeah.
take their asset and then go to their friend's house and then still end up working, right? So we kind of see that control becomes extremely important. So we'll have to think of new ways to kind of deploy that, and obviously, take employees' consensus, which is critical. You
Yeah.
can't, because we've moved into their home space. So it is important that we take the consensus and then do it. This is something that we are doing. I think the third biggest challenge could be the training space. How do we kind of do a virtual training? While some of the modules that we would have prepared is all classroom based. So there is a need for looking at self-paced learning modules, which we can kind of cater to, and obviously have virtual training program. And how do we do that seamlessly with a same letter and spirit? And obviously, people are able to grasp the entire thing in terms of knowledge when they kind of come in. So these are, I think, key challenges, but I think we kind of handled it very well. And I'm sure most of the organizations are thinking in these lines to ensure that, there is no disruption to customer experience. So how do we ensure there's a good power enablement and no power cut? And in spite of that, we are able to overcome through UPS, etc. Second thing is the controls. The third thing is the training. So if we are able to take care of that, I think it'll be fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So those are the good points. So with that, we'll move to the third discussion point. This is more for pointing towards Suresh. So he's here done this, moving into tier 2, tier 3 cities way back 9 years back, and doing it successfully. So what we would like to understand from you is what worked well for you and what were the challenges you faced, because unlike many other companies who went through this exercise during the pandemic in a rushed mode, and but whereas they all had tighter time frame, but they all were doing it together, and year 2020, whereas you have done it alone, not with the time pressure, but there was something else driving you to do this one, right? So it is interesting from our perspective to understand what went through your mind, what are the challenges you faced, and how it all happened. Suresh?
Yeah, thank you, Uttam. Like correctly said, Chikandar and Sunil, and we moved our operation to tier 2, tier 3 about 9 years before.
Yeah.
It's like what Chikandar said, BCP. We started with 10 people, how it is working. Then we have seen a lot of cost benefit. Firstly, cost benefit. Then attrition is less. Second, and of course we are doing something for maybe our own place, or where doesn't have any opportunity. We are going to the people instead of getting people to in Chennai or Bangalore or Coimbatore. We are going to the people. So they are also happy. So they are getting job with their hometown and within 10 kilometers radius. So they are also happy. Now, even if you look at Chennai or Hyderabad, Bangalore, most of the people maybe migrated from the tier 2 or tier 3.
Yeah.
Okay. If you look at any festival, Diwali or Pongal or any festival, you look at the bus and a train, how many people going from there. That's what I thought in my mind. Since I am also came from there, I know what are the challenges if I face about 30 years before. Okay. Just coming out from the family, just working here, I miss my family, parents, this and all. Now we have everything. only thing, as long as you have the bandwidth, internet connection, and power, two main things. Okay, you can work Kashmir to Kanyakumari everywhere. Okay,
Yeah.
and of course, like Sikandar said, still we have the power issue. Okay,
Yeah.
but if you look at the office, we have 125 kVA genset, so that is solved. Okay, first thing. Again, the bandwidth. There were some challenges in 2010 and all, but now all the people are giving, even for village also, even for a tier 3 city, I have all the service providers for lease line,
Okay.
PRI, MPLS, point one, whatever you want,
That's
everything's
great.
available.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think there is challenges in infrastructure over there.
Okay.
Maybe we have challenges for training part, so we don't get right people there. Now we are migrating from experienced people from Chennai to tier 3
Yeah.
to take care
Yeah.
of them.
Yes.
Okay, that is the only thing we are pushing now.
Yeah.
Okay, move one manager there. See, anybody from the location working as a team leader, okay, you go there and take care of the team.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that. That challenges we had it before. Now it's Delhi solved that thing. So as I said, cost benefit and attrition is less, so that all our client also happy. Okay,
Happy. Yeah.
all the client also happy, and that is the main advantages for us. Again, we already moved tier 2, tier 3 city. We already experienced for work from home also. Okay.
Yes.
What we do actually normally, any group of people living from after marriage or something like that, so still we want to work. We don't
Yeah.
have option. Okay, we do work from home. As Sunil said, there will be security, data, all the stuff. We have the secured VPN. Once connected to our VPN, that's all. They can't do anything on that PC. Like instead of sitting next to room, next to office, they are connected to our system, our server. They can do the work seamlessly.
Okay.
That experiment we already done 2 years before,
Okay.
before pandemic, or February. Almost out of 1,200 people, almost I can say 50 people are being work from home. 50.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Then we came to know the situation in February. All my US client, domestic client, they said, give me the plan. We know that this is not going to happen for 1 month or 15 days. I'm sure it will be 6 months, minimum 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we parallelly start worked on that. I don't think so. Maybe I think March 26, 27, the lockdown started.
Yeah.
The same date, 27, 28, we can able to give coverage for 50%.
Okay.
Okay. Probably April second week, almost reach 90 to 95% because they don't know, because power issue, internet issue, how they'll connect. No, if you have the broadband, it's okay. Now we don't have a broadband, so we should have the dongle. We give the dongle. The dongle doesn't have the if the particular village or where they're doing work from home, they don't have the coverage.
Yeah.
Then they can't get new SIM also.
Yeah.
Okay, get it from wherever relative or DOS code or Airtel code, BSNL code, buy all four SIM
Yeah.
or take it from the relative. They put it. That happened for first 15 days, but now everything's all right.
Yeah.
Now we are planning almost 50% of the people still working from the office, because since we have already established
Okay.
setup, maybe we can reduce some facility in Chennai, but our
Okay.
rest of Chennai facility and all, we are running with the 50%.
Sure.
Balance 50% still they are doing work from home. We are happy. Even our client also happy, as long as we are taking care of the data security. They're happy.
Okay. Yeah.
It's moving
Yeah.
on, uh, going on smooth. Only thing still we have challenges for our power issue. That still we need to go through it. That's all. There's
Yeah.
no option, and because uh, we can't give for our company, we always use the desktop. Okay, we won't use laptop. What we did, whoever is in the desktop, you take the same desktop to your home. Okay.
Okay.
So, or if you have the laptop, use your laptop. We will configure remotely what we want, all the software and everything. Then start working on from the laptop. That option
Okay.
is given now.
Okay. 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 Yeah. 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 Thanks for that, Suresh. Yeah. Like it's true. Like so there are a lot of hard points, and so there are a lot of advantages also at the end of the day. But then so the to have that vision to move it closer to your hometown, or being enabled to directly contributing to that tier 3 city economy is really the key thing that I would like to highlight. And that's a really great job, because if you enable our tier 3 and cities, it's not just enabling that city, it's enabling the whole villages around that city, right? So which
Right.
means lots of the family based businesses and including agriculture, everything, we are giving a lifeline,
Correct. Correct.
which is a great thing to be done and be proud of. Great job, Suresh, on that. Yeah. So, so you would like to add anything here, Sunil, Sikendra?
I think,
Yeah,
I think that's a great point, and those are the 2 points which, when we discussed about this tier 2, tier 3. One,
yeah,
the first one is the where the data resides, right?
yeah.
And your workforce characteristic, whether you are a consumer or a provider. So
Mhm.
if you ask me that, my major inhibition to move to a tier 3 was if I am a provider, right?
Yeah,
I can't think, I'm keeping my data center in a tier 3 city, because looking at the SLAs provided by the providers and, all the electricity and all these things. Nowadays, majority of the data is now moving to cloud. This, I think, movement would be much easier and, much faster now. People
yeah,
would think about it,
yeah,
because my data is on the cloud. As Suresh rightly pointed out, what you need end of the day, you need a secure connectivity back to your cloud,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So I think this is going to be, maybe the COVID or the pandemic has made a lot of people to think in this uh, direction, but I'm sure that, this would be moving in quite fast,
Quite
maybe in the
fast.
next
Yeah,
3 to 4 years. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. True. Okay.
I would also like to add on the biggest advantage of moving what we have seen from work from home,
Yeah,
but I'm sure this is going to be a massive advantage would be when we move to a tier 2, tier 3 will be, even if you look at the current workforce, right, working in a tier 1 location, you will always have, let's say, about a 30-40% of the workforce who are probably from a tier 2 or a tier 3 location,
yeah,
a good chunk from tier 2 and some of them from tier 3, because
yeah,
those have come for education and done that education either in a tier 2 or a tier 1 location. So
yeah,
it's not like, it's only the tier 1 population working out of tier 1.
yeah,
And what it's proved is the fact that, pandemic has proved that people can work from anywhere. And uh, and uh, and it will definitely help the organization to reduce the attrition, so
yeah,
which is the big concern that you will have in a contact center space.
yeah,
Just imagine, somebody has to work out of a Madurai, Salem, and that's their hometown. They're just going to go back there, or any place like, Suresh said, some of the setups that he's got already in tier 3. The
yeah,
biggest achievement will be, you are able to run an attrition rate which will probably that you will see in a data process.
yeah.
It's very hard to see a contact center running with a very very minimal attrition. And
True.
also the fact that, the it gives the flexibility to the employees. And I can think of, one of my friend who's also there in the call. I would probably voice out his name as well. His name is
Yeah,
Deepak, and he comes, his father is a great farmer, uh,
yeah,
from Teni. And he's kind of, uh, when he went back for a few days and started working from there, his aspiration was to, how do I make a setup in the middle of my farming land and put up a contact center operations and run this contact center, right?
wow,
And
great.
that's not too far away.
Yeah,
We are already talking about it, and you're running this event,
yeah,
rightly calling it as, it takes a village to run and grow the contact center. And I
yeah,
think pandemic has proved us that nothing is impossible. And I
yeah,
think a tier 2 and a tier 3 location, in terms of the talent also, it's not like it's not available. Already in tier 3, tier 1 location, we have a good chunk of tier 2 and tier 3 uh, people working in tier 1. And I'm 100% sure they'll be more than happy to go back to their respective towns, villages, to, just work from there and make a bigger saving compared to what they would save in tier 1. And obviously, like you said, Uttaman, it's going to
yeah.
just give it back to the economy and grow that
Economy.
tier 2, tier 3
So,
locations in terms of
yeah,
economy.
yeah.
So that will be the focus.
That's yeah, that's the biggest advantage, right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes we see many employees leaving job because like there is some urgent need at the back home, like dad is not feeling well or like feeling ill. They had to go back for some time to take care of them. Now, if you let them work from closer to their home, like there is no need for them to quit the job, right? They can do both at the same time and still be part of our economy. So that's a great thing. Okay, so discussion point four. There's one word that's keep coming back to us all the time now, even more. That's called stay safe, right? So whether it's putting a mask on or keeping the distance or staying in the bubble or whatever we define it as, right? So when we all started to work from home and work from our hometowns over a period of time, we have started getting concerned about people staying so you are what you are missing out is a social and meeting with friends and families and so how do you make sure they are still staying sane, right? The most important question in the minds of everyone coming out to be staying safe. So there is a growing belief that people are actually mentally or physically healthier when they were working from tier 2 and tier 3 compared to tier 1. So it can go both ways, because we had a social life when there were people are in tier 1. Now probably that social life has been cut off, including no, there is no theaters, and there are not many movement in the mall, and a lot of things have been curtailed, but people are living in tier 2 and tier 3. So so physically, are they being healthier now, or so what do you think is happening based on your experience from your employees and in past few months? So Sunil, you want?
Yeah, I think this is a very important, point. And there are two. Again, I will divide this into two. One is the social, my surroundings and my relationship with the organization.
Yeah,
Let me take you one example here. So when I go to my office premise, I get more attached to the organization, right? I
yeah,
get to see like different people. I get to talk, and many people I jump to each other on maybe corridor. A lot of things happens, right?
yeah,
Now that pandemic has also got this has also got some negative aspect to it. A lot of people were laying off resources, right? There
yeah,
was a layoff which is happening, and because I'm sitting a little bit external to the organization, so I'm not able to understand whether my importance to the organization is judged properly, or my work is being analyzed, or it's been visible to the leadership, or I am the person who is going to be out of the organization, right? This was there always, and
yeah.
we also had a reduction in force, not with pandemic, but a normal process. So here, what I seen is that the leadership, how you manage your people comes a big handy things, right?
Yeah.
Like you need to have the first thing what we worked, see, we send a lot of emails talking about unplugging and giving, asking them to go do these exercises or yoga. A lot of things happens, but the major important thing is that the people has to get informed what is happening,
Hmm.
right? Okay, yeah, you may not have a cup of tea, or you may not go for a weekend party, but you need to make sure that you connect with your people.
Yeah.
So this becomes a manager responsibility. So what we did from our side was we made sure that it's not that every day we are going to have a meeting and talking about whether VPN connectivity or incidents. No, we simply have a get together, right? Virtual connect, where
Yeah.
we take a topic, maybe take a topic of somebody is getting married, very casual talk,
Hmm.
right? Through that casual talk, what we try to see that we try to give that okay, see, look, you are important to the organization, right? What you are contributing is actually making organization to do great things, achieve great things.
Yeah.
So we divided work. Yeah, definitely there will be calls, lot of call discussions and all, but there is also a more casual connect,
Yeah.
right? So this casual connect gives, like like unfortunately there were few team members which was impacted with COVID in my own team, right? So we make sure that we can communicate to the people. The HR comes into the play, we ask them, you're okay, do you want us to do something? Maybe there is an insurance help they required. So there was always a connect. So we have a
Yeah.
new WhatsApp group created, right? So it was not that the formal way. We tried to go out of more
Okay.
into an informal way.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can see me wearing beard and all. These are make sure that look, see, I like this look, right? I try to have different looks every day, right? And I encourage them also. Give me a different look, right? So look more casual. They will more relaxed. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I have seen when you think that your position is kind of you don't know what is going to happen next. You will not enjoy anything, whether you
Enjoy.
are work
Yeah.
from home, whether you are doing tier 3, tier 4, tier 5.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
security has to be instilled,
Yeah.
so that we can give it more casual way of doing or
Enjoy.
interacting with the
Sure.
team. Yeah,
So yeah, you're trying to kind of enforce that idea that like hey, we are taking care of you. So like you do your best. So let's keep up with our team more.
we
So
are we are
that's
there for you, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
can give a
yeah,
call to me or anyone. It's
yeah,
always open. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, 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 great. Okay, so let's move to the next one. We are getting closer to the end of discussion. So moving to a smaller city should make a business sense. So I would like to have both sides of the coin to be reviewed here. Um, so let's take a few moments to discuss what really can go wrong with such a move when you are moving to a smaller city. So let's look at that aspect first, and then we come back to the positive one a little later. Suresh, you want to throw a few
Yeah.
ideas? Like,
I don't think any challenges for me to moving to tier three city. Okay.
okay,
There
okay,
was challenges for 10 years before. If you look at last
okay,
5 years, nothing. I
okay,
have resource available,
okay,
infrastructure available.
okay,
Okay. Yes, there is some infrastructure not available, like especially for power.
okay,
That we have alternative. Anyway, in Chennai also we need alternative. That's all. So I don't think so nowadays any challenges for me to moving the obviously to tier three. Forget about
okay.
tier two, tier three. Because full of 40, 50% people coming from that here. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
move there, that's all. So
yeah.
except costing, I don't think so any challenges we have.
Okay,
Like training, we have challenges. That's all. We have to go through all those things. We need to look at plus or minus. So there is a training is a huge challenges for us. We have to spend extra time for training. In Chennai, we are spending 1 week or 10 days. We need to spend 20 days. Both the resource not available. Even for trainers not available, right trainer, and people also new. That's
yeah,
it. So we
yeah.
had to know that go through all those challenges for hiccups. That's all. I
Okay.
don't think go apart from anything else.
So 10 years
Except
back, when you started, have you faced any like difficult situations, like when there is a new film released? Did you have to close your office?
we had a lot of challenges before. Actually,
Yeah,
I have to thank to my client first.
yeah,
Okay. We used to work because asset management company in Chennai. Okay. I don't want to name it. One of the now look at topmost in India. They are. So we worked with them and we worked directly with another asset management company from UK. Of course, they have person in India. So they said they given a chance. Okay, we had huge challenges for getting bandwidth. Okay, 2 Mbps bandwidth they used to pay per month 50 to 60,000 rupees.
yeah, yeah. I know. I
We can
remember.
get BSNL. Only
Yeah,
thing we
yeah,
can get BSNL.
yeah,
We had the challenges, but still we can do better from there. That time
yeah,
itself. So
yeah.
they're giving confident level. Oh my God, you can work. Then why don't you try for our company also some other location also?
Oh, okay.
So that challenge we had it before, but slowly, over the after 1 month, when people know that okay, there is a requirement, then government also supported us. Okay, we went to BSN office. I need a line here. We went to Reliance. We need the line. Of course, there will be capex is there.
Yeah,
So our
absolutely.
client will sponsor that time. We also sponsor. You need to look at long term. We are not going for just going to operation for one small process, getting out from there. That started with the 15 seat there. Then slowly, increase. Now we have 500 seats over there. That's all. So I don't think
Yeah.
so. Any challenges for me. In fact, we reduced the team size in Chennai. We are increasing over there.
Everything over there. Great. Okay. So and then I know you had faced like many companies, some government regulations on that side. Also, you want to touch base a little bit on that. That was one of the struggle, right? Moving to the
No,
Uh,
government side, in fact, actually two things. One for a statutory point, we are a
yeah,
little bit tough
yeah,
managing that because if you look at the particular places, you don't have any insurance facility from the government because there's no dispensary in the particular. It's a small town.
so yeah,
Then we arrange for alternative insurance for all the employees. Then apart from that, government there was a DOT issue was that we should get for the DOT license and the OSP license if
yes,
you're
yeah,
doing any voice non-voice operation all that stuff.
yes, yeah,
But we had a license about for our non-voice operation for 16 years before. That
okay,
license valid for we just did some addendum and they agreed on that. So there is no domestic international process going on the same places, so that we don't have this
okay,
such issues.
sure,
As
okay,
long as license is there, we can get connectivity easily.
okay,
So that's what we followed that, no problem.
okay, 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 great. Okay, so from your perspective, Sikandar, like what was a negative or like challenges you faced when you were moving out to tier two or three?
I think initial challenge that we could face is somebody's ability to think about how a contact center is run. Whilst I don't think from a capability perspective it will become a question, not at all. But for somebody to think about running a contact center, it's to do with the mindset, right? And
Yeah,
you just have to change that mindset, and that's all it takes. And that's the biggest challenge. Someone thinking, should I move to a tier two, tier three? They should think of this pandemic as an example and say, nothing is impossible. What we thought we cannot do is happening right now. We are all working from home. This is not any normal BCP scenario that any organization would have thought about.
mm-hmm.
So we've got uh, good talent in a tier two and tier three location. I think people like Suresh, who can probably continue to invest in a tier two, tier three locations is the way forward. And I want to touch on what it can also do is there is going to be a better connect. When you have people working from their own town or the native place, you're not just connecting with them alone. You are connecting with the extended family. You know who's their mother, father, their
Right, right.
birthday, their anniversary, their
Yeah,
parents anniversary, and every and that's not something that you would probably invest on in a situation when you're working from office, right?
yeah, yeah,
But when you allow them to work from home, and coupled with if they are going to work from native, and there is going to be a connect not just with the employee but with the employee's family, and
yes,
that takes care of
lot,
and just imagine today lot many parents of people who come from tier 2 tier 3 location to work out of tier 1 do not understand how a contact center works. And suddenly just imagine somebody is wearing a headset and speaking
yeah,
uh, to some customers, and that's what the parents, as parents, we want to see, right? What our sons and daughters do. And there's a lot of pride with parents when they get to see how their own kids have transformed and what they do
yeah,
is outstanding. I don't see anything as a challenge barring the power. And I think there is some amount of control. And like I said, if we can think through of training capabilities, how we set it up, those things are something applies to both work from home or to a tier 2, tier 3 locations. But more importantly, the power, right? The rest
yeah,
of the things, be it infrastructure, technology, all of that, we have tested it out. It's not like it's not happening right now. Even in a work from home, I know some of the colleagues have started working from a tier 2, tier 3 location with a laptop and a dongle, and they are still able to do it because we have better network connectivity right now. So
yeah,
uh,
absolutely, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, so we have talked about the tangible, like the challenges and like advantages. So, Sunil, you want to talk about anything that are like not so obvious, like either it's an advantage or disadvantage, like intangible items.
Uh, no, I think yes, we all agree that that's the best thing can happen tier 2, tier 3 operations, but there has to be some cautions attached to it
Yeah,
because it cannot be a lift and shift approach, right?
yeah,
Because tomorrow morning I can't think that I completely move out my business from tier 1 to tier 2. So this has to be a very gradual approach, and
yeah.
work from home has actually gone even beyond tier 2, tier 3, right?
Yes,
I can
yes,
be
very,
anywhere, right? So it's
yeah,
anywhere, like in a work scenario. Along with that, what as an organization, what we need to now think about, rather than the tier 2, tier 3 one, the terminology what I would like to coin is that the digital office,
yeah,
right? It could be anywhere, right?
anywhere,
It
yeah,
could be my home, it could be tier 2, tier 1, tier 3. So this has to be a digital office. Now,
yeah.
as a digital office, what are the PQs or requirements I need to address?
Hmm.
Right, so that barrier is also going to go. So now if I go back to my management and say tier 2, tier 3, they may not be interested. Sunil, we don't bother where they work from, right? They could be
Yeah,
any place, yeah, as long as they can connect. They need a connectivity, and like major infrastructure like power and everything is going to be a challenge. Like productivity, one major point is that you need to understand the productivity pattern of your resources, right? But there are tools available. We are also employed few tools which gives you exactly what is they're doing when they are taking a break, right? And
yeah.
even it will, like, now it is more than 1.5 hours. My productivity assistant is asking me to take a break now,
Hmm.
right? He's saying you are sitting for a long time, so take a break. So we have all these interactive
Yeah,
tools available. So I think this is the way, but it has to be a well thought of process
fantastic. Yeah,
rather than a lift and shift approach.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Great. Okay. Okay, so that brings us to enough our discussion, like all the 5 points that we had. So the so summarize everything, so looks like moving and going through this pandemic situation, the journey has been challenging, no doubt about it, but it has thrown a lot of difficult situation at every one of us at the same time, which we none of us have seen in our lifetime, right? Because it has the last pandemic happened like about 100 years back. So um, but we all have a different kind of experience now, different kind of immunity, we can say, probably we are not ready for the COVID-19 itself, but what we are ready is, if something happens like this, we are now in a very, very strong position to handle it in a much, much easier way, whether it is a natural disasters or any pandemic kind of a situation like this, because now we are thought through the whole process. We have understand, we have come to a conclusion that, we can still work. We need not be in this four wall, right? We don't have to constrain ourselves within the four wall. We can still do, we can still achieve and deliver, and all at the same time. So the physical constraint of being in the one particular location has been broken for good, and it has brought in a lot of good changes, including our government devotee to start thinking about relaxing and bringing in a lot of good changes, like Suresh mentioned. So, it is not going to be of our hurdle anymore. It is going to rather help us to grow and ease of doing business going forward. So that's a great thing. So with that remark, now I would like to thank our panelist Suresh. See you, I Mark being here and spending time with us, and explaining, sharing his experience. Thank you very much. I want
Pleasure.
to thank Sunil, taking your busy schedule time off and being with us, and I know you are working and responding some of to your email while we are doing this meeting. We thank you very much for your thoughts and being with us and sharing your thoughts. And same thing with Shikender, we want to thank you very much for your insights and sharing your moving into Coimbatore and facing what are the different issues we faced from your earlier organization, and helping us to understand what it is to to go through those process and everything. So thanks so much for all of you. And from the participant side, I did not see any questions or anything coming up in the chat room. Is there anyone has any question to any of our panelists? If you do, please raise your hand so we can let you ask questions, please. Vignesh, are you able to see them if they are raising hands?
None of them raised the hand.
Okay, that's fine then. Okay, that's good. So what we are going to do is we are going to wrap up this first hour panel discussion, and we are going to share the recording of this meeting with all of you to go through and benefit from this one. Oh, there is someone raised hand. Lalit?
Yes, I have one question I posted there. How do you think there will be recruitment challenges, especially when we are going to Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities? Because we have, in Tier 1 cities at present, the consultancies or someone who handles the recruitment and all, it would be easier. But with Tier 2 and Tier 3, how and what would be the challenges and how can we overcome?
Okay. Can I answer, Uttam?
Sure, go ahead, please.
Yeah. See, like what we do in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, we go with the media only. One, we go with the paper advertisement. Okay. As usual, we use a Naukri, other portal also. And third, we put, Squirrel advertisement, the local cable. Okay. It will reach their home. Always, three things, even for Hosur, Mayiladuthurai, Pondicherry, we have office. Okay. We always go with the local cable only. Okay. So it will easily reach. Okay. So that is the thing. I don't think, I don't have any recruitment challenges over there. If I want 50 people, I can get it within 2 weeks time. If you want 50 people in Chennai, though there is a consultant, okay, I know depend on so many consultants, they'll come. So 50 people, if I recruited, I can get it joining only 20 people. Whereas if I recruit 50 people, 45 people will join. One more thing, they will come to office along with the parents only, the interview. Either come with a parent, father or mother or brother or sister. So they'll see the office and everything, they'll get comfortable, then they'll join. So I don't think there will be any challenges for recruitment over there. That is a main advantage, in fact, actually, getting full of manpower easily. So once we to choose the candidate, the efficiency level and all, that we need to look into it.
Okay, thank you, Suresh.
Okay. So anyone else have any other questions? Please feel free to ask.
This was Suresh.
Yeah.
Sir, does government provide any financial support for establishing BPOs in rural areas?
Yes, it was there before. There is a scheme called India BPO Promotion Scheme. Okay.
Okay.
For that scheme only, we set up for 500 seats in Mayiladuthurai and 200 seats in Hosur and 100 seats in Pondicherry. That scheme not allowed in entire DCPM, Delhi, Calcutta, Bombay, Mumbai is not available. Okay. And Pune and Bangalore. Okay. We can go Tier 2, Tier 3, but scheme is closed as of now. Okay. There will be lot of local government. If you look at any government, they are having lot of good scheme now. Okay. If you go now, but they'll do like capital subsidy or recruitment fee, for training fee. A lot of things they are providing. So you need to look into it, the government option. There is option available.
Okay.
Which state you are calling? From Tamil Nadu or?
I belong to Kadalur.
Kadalur. I think if you are approached by ELCOT, okay, there is one scheme also available from ELCOT from Tamil Nadu government, and anybody want to do the BPO business in especially the village or Tier 3 city, there is option. They are giving for entire infra facility and all. You can go to ELCOT website also. There is option available, you can apply. I
Okay.
think.
Okay, sir. Now that the employees are doing a reverse migration back to their hometowns in rural areas,
Mhm.
how do you see this?
That is uh, like a reverse engineering. They're going back there, but of course, if they're going back, we are reducing our infra cost, head office or Chennai or wherever it may be. We are reducing the cost.
Yeah.
So we are helping them. See, if in actually working for them as a company for us, the expenses may be less, but for them expenses maybe increase some extent, especially for electricity. Okay, I'm sure it'll cost about minimum 1,000 rupees. For example, if you want a minimum, bare minimum.
Okay,
Okay. That things and all we are taking care of, the electricity, bandwidth, this, our system, all we are taking care of. And they're also happy. It depends, if any process get affected because of, the data security and all, we are not encouraging that. That we stop. Any process not affected because of, data security or things and all, we are allowing to, do work from home.
sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Suresh. Anybody else? Okay. Okay. So yeah, let's wrap it up. So thanks so much. And Sunil had to drop because he had a other meeting to join too. So thanks so much, Suresh, and thanks so much, Sikender, and thank you so much for all the participants and being with us and making our first meeting from the Bharat Connect successful. So let's just remember, it does take a village to help run and operate call center, and it's just a beginning, and we are going to see more of it, and so we'll continue our discussions in future meetings, and we'll bring up a lot more different topics. So we encourage our participants and panelists also to spread the word and help us connect with a lot of different people from the our contact center space, customer service space, so we can bring our community together and can create our own space, and where we can share our ideas and make our better our vertical as a customer service vertical as a strong player in the globe. We are already there, but we want to make it even more stronger, and to be more what do you call a leader in this space compared to other upcoming spaces, whether it is Philippines or Vietnam, wherever the other competitions are coming, the next wave of competition is coming for us. So we would like to figure out what are the different ways we can help grow our local Indian companies and our communities to be in a stronger, much stronger position. So we would like to request all of your help to help us grow. So with that note, thank you so much, and have a good evening. We will talk to you all soon, in one of our future meetings.